Well, we were following some new developments over classified documents in President Biden's possession. The White House announcing today that no visitor logs exist at his private residence in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, this comes as House Republicans called for the release of those records over the weekend. The White House announcing more documents than previously reported were found at his Delaware home. There are reports that more searches are underway. So let's do more analysis. We have former federal prosecutor David Weinstein joining us now. David, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Here's one of the questions so many people have. Why are private lawyers being tasked with retrieving these documents, especially if more than likely these lawyers do not have the proper clearance, giving them access to highly sensitive material like this?
Well, Nichole, I think it starts from when they initially found these documents. They weren't looking for these documents to begin with. They were conducting an inventory of documents. Before, in the case of his office in Pennsylvania, they were moving them from there and then of his house to see what other documents were there. So their initial search, they didn't expect to find any documents. Upon finding them, they've stopped, and that's when they bring in people who have the clearance. So I don't know that they're really being tasked with looking for these documents. I think that they're initially taking inventory, and when they find these documents, they stop and call in people who do have the right clearance.
All right. So David, Republicans are saying that there is a double standard in how this is being handled when we compare it to the Trump investigation. Based on everything you know, is that a fair complaint?
Based on everything I know and that we know about the two different investigations, I don't think it is a fair complaint. I think that some of what we're seeing happening here happened with the initial discovery of the documents in Trump's residences and in his offices. They went through them, they found them, they were asked to turn them over, they turned them over. And then when it turned out that they didn't turn over everything, that's when things got a little bit more difficult for the former president. Here, they found them in the vice president's office in his home, they've turned them over. And if somebody is asking to come and take a look, which they did with the former president down in Mar-a-Lago before they got the search warrants, they'll let somebody come in and take a look for any additional documents that might exist. So I don't think it's really that different based on what we know.
Okay. And pointing that out, how likely do you think there is to be an official search which involves the FBI, similar to what happened to the former president?
Well, I don't think it's going to require a search warrant as it did with the former president. I think that now that they've found additional documents at his home, I think that they're going to send out agents, whether it's FBI or whether it's other national security level agents, and they'll conduct another search, again, much like they did at Mar-a-Lago when they found additional documents. So at some point, yes, because of the classification level potentially for these documents, they're going to send out agents who have that type of a clearance to look for the documents.
All right, so David, last question for you. What matters most here? The quantity of the documents, the handling of those documents, or what is exactly in those documents?
I think it comes down to what's in those documents. I don't think quantity should ever matter, whether it's one or whether it's 201. Obviously, a larger volume speaks towards intent of the person who took them, but I think it's a question of what's in them and then how did they get there? And most importantly, did the person who has control over the area know that those documents were there? That's where the number becomes important.
Absolutely. All right. David Weinstein, we appreciate your input as always. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.